All right, world, what up? It's your boy John the Baptist, aka Premier Poppy, back in the building once again. First time special guest, my previous lead actor. Before we nixed him out, say, hey man, I'm a real dude. We stay. I was like,
no hard feelings.
I didn't like just because he ain't the lead actor doesn't mean we can't be cool. We actually have a project we're working on. I ain't gonna talk about that too much at current time. That's gonna roll out. We're gonna hit you with that whenever it happens. But he is the first guest on Bomtakes that I've had, and we're going to get a little political today. We also, at the end of the show, I think we're going to announce something for the future, but let's get into it. Let's get into it, Matt. Mr. Matt Mars.
What do you want to talk about?
Actually, before we get to talking anything, why don't you just give a few minutes, or just a few seconds, and tell people who you are and where they can find you on social media before we get into it.
All right, well, it's pretty simple. As you said, my name is Matt, Matthew Mars. You can find me on social media. Instagram's really my big thing. You guys can go ahead and follow that. It's just MattMaars. It's 2 A's in it. And as he said, I was his lead actor at one point. Now I do some stuff independently. And we are working on something together, so hopefully that comes out. I mean, I don't know the time frame, but that's going to come out.
It will come out.
It will come out, but we just don't know. So, I mean, me and him have been friends for... Gosh, what about 2 years now?
Yeah, 2 years now since that's when we met on the.
Now, so
I believe in this young man. That's why he was the lead, because in our casting call he came and I believed in him. But so things don't work out, but that doesn't mean that just means that's just the way journeys start. Right. And here's another leg of that journey. Guest on this here bomb tape. Well, sir, what anything you want to talk about today?
Let's get right into the politics. Let's
get into politics. Yes, sir. Let's get into politics. So. One of the things I've noticed that I paid attention to is that, which not strange in the Trump campaign, but somebody got fired, and to me, that particular dude being Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, it kind of seemed like this whole time he had his back and Trump had his back, and so it's just very weird that out of nowhere, that he gets nixed from his position because Trump has always kind of been for state rights and a lot of issues, marijuana being one of them.
Well, it comes down, I think, to the Mueller case. I mean, whenever he recused himself, that was really the beginning of the end for his position. It tells you a lot about Donald Trump, about whether or not he has something to hide.
It tells you a lot about Jeff Sessions. It's even though he's a douchebag, Hobbit, creature, but he still obviously has some kind of moral center. So I mean, it's crazy. So and then so now, what do you think about the dude that's taking his place? That looks like the Punisher.
I haven't got a chance to look too much on him. I don't really know what he's about.
Right, but I mean,
I've heard he is kind of in the pocket of the Trump
administration. Right, and that's kind of his thing. Now he worked under Jeff Sessions, but it's weird that Trump before all this happened said he knew the guy really well. Mm-hmm. Now Trump says he knows he's here, he's a good worker, but he doesn't know the guy. He doesn't know. He's never met the guy. He's never doesn't know the guy. We'll find out how. It's I don't understand how you can know somebody one week and then you don't know them the next week. And then when you hire them for a job, you knew them before you hired them for a job, but then when you hired them for the job, now you don't know them.
What is it? Kellyanne Conway says alternate facts. Alternate facts is what that is.
Alternate facts.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I mean, I don't want to. I hate to even because I don't even taking time to even talk about alternate facts because it's just gives time to make every that's a real thing. I mean, we just need to get away from that shit and just talk about real things because to give because their attack of the media is one of the biggest problems.
Oh gosh.
With what I'm saying with the Trump campaign, and sometimes well,
you saw Acosta got his press pass.
Yeah.
That was.
And sometimes I would even say that he's not even say right per se, but I can see they sometimes are concentrating too much on what he's doing. You're pouring fuel on the fire just by giving this guy attention for even when he's being
Did you see what Sarah Sanders tweeted in response to that? Did you see the actual press conference?
Yeah, I watched the clip.
Okay,
yeah.
In the actual press conference, they say that he violently assaulted her. He slowly put his hand there, and not only that, he said, "Pardon me, ma'am," after he did so. And Sarah Sanders tweeted a video from InfoWars, which, as we all know, is the supreme political news
where you
source.
Want, if you want real facts, hard evidence.
If you want real facts, you go to InfoWars,
you go to
obviously.
Of course.
And it's a sped up video to where it looks like he just,
it's
comical when you see when he
karate
chops.
Who I watched, they said they sped it up to even try to make it look and they
And he
even
cuts
still,
out the pardon me, man.
Yeah, even still, you couldn't even make it look like it was anything close to a violent act.
Jimmy Kimmel actually posted, and he
Did
said,
you know that a Trump-appointed judge is what dismissed or not dismissed it, but told them they had to give the so I mean, like, it's good to know that there are some people who, like, despite their allegiances, whatever, have a backbone, right? Yeah. I mean, speaking of backbones, like that's what it's hard to believe that Mr. Ted Cruz, Mr. No Backbone, couldn't even stand up to Trump when he attacked his wife and his dad, telling his dad was waiting on the Kennedy assassination, and I love
how he makes it such an emotional. Well, I had a choice that night if I was going to let it consume me or I was going to continue doing it. It's like, you didn't do anything. You did this solely for your career.
Right. You looked like a beaten puppy. Like
he tried to play it off as if he did it for the people of Texas. You did it for yourself to continue doing what you do.
I don't get that. George Bush, I get. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. George W. Bush, I get how Texans like George W. Bush.
Regardless of party, he's a likable guy.
He's a likable. That's what I'm saying.
That Obama had, where he had some life to him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as a person, I get why Texans because I'm sure George W. Bush is the kind of Republican that Obama was a Democrat that got people to come across party lines to vote for him.
Absolutely.
But more than anything, like you said, he's a likable guy.
Yeah.
I don't understand how a Ted Cruz Trump.
You can't honestly tell me that you voted for Ted Cruz and
because
you like Ted Cruz.
You like Trump. Like people that voted for Trump, they have no problem telling you they like fucking Donald Trump. They like that motherfucker. That's their guy. Yeah. He went to Washington to fight for them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But Ted Cruz won, and I don't even know anyone who really was Cruz. I'm proud. I'm voting for Ted Cruz. Proud of it. Proud of him.
They're proud of the party is what it is.
I guess it is. That's just
they don't
crazy.
care who. That's what it's come down to. Since we've seen the era of Trump, is it doesn't matter who is running. It matters what party they're running for in their minds. If he's a red Republican, I don't care. How many people he's murdered, how many people he's raped. I mean, if he's a Republican, I'm voting for him.
Even though I'm an evangelical Christian, I don't care how many times he cheated on his wife. I don't care that he's had sex with porn stars while he's been married to his current wife. I don't understand. What is it you hate about liberalism that you would evangelical Christians?
There's double standards to everything they find
say they like him and that people make mistakes, but I was like, y'all were trying to crucify Obama. Mm-hmm. On all kind of things, but you don't attack these gentlemen on the same thing.
You don't hold them to the same standard.
Yeah, Texans.
Exactly.
Why aren't Texans holding Ted Cruz to the standard of Texas? You know what I mean? This dude is constantly back down. People there are people in his own party who talk shit about Ted Cruz, who say that they hate him.
And that's why a lot of people that don't understand, I think a lot of people that vote in those types of elections when it comes to senators and things like that, they don't understand what the job actually is. They don't they don't understand the issues with somebody who is a senator who doesn't get along. You have to be able to get along with other senators in order to get things through. And if you're not a likable guy in that position, you're not going to get shit done when you're working there. And Republicans in Texas just simply seem like they don't care. They're like, we just want a Republican. We don't care what he does. We'll see you in 6 years.
Right. They're going to toe the party line, moral center be damned, But was it, I forget which guy said it. I think it was Republican. He said, if Ted Cruz was murdered on the Senate floor, that person would not be convicted. No one would care. Wow.
Yeah.
How does a man who can't even be respected by his peers be elected to public office?
And especially in this era of politics, as we know,
right?
You're still that unlikable.
Right. It's amazing. I don't get it. Oh, here's a hot take.
He was close to being president. I mean, in 2016, he was
closer than most people get. Right? Yeah.
He was
I agree.
Runner-up behind Trump in the Republican nomination. That's scary to think that someone like him got so far.
So far, right? And I don't even know, because even watching him on those primaries, the primary debates, Trump was handling him. You know what I mean? You're a true politician, and a man who you're fired. Yeah. Handled you on every occasion that you could mince words. He handled you every fucking time.
It goes you have discussed SNL and the controversy Republicans see with that, as they say that they pander only to Democrats and don't ever make fun of Democrats. But when you look at those primaries, like you were saying, there was a lot of instances where they parodied those primaries, and most of the material was from the real life experience. There were things like the small hands and that kind of stuff that was actually just the Republicans.
They're just repeating what was said.
Exactly.
Not even satirizing, not even like exaggerating.
No.
Literally repeating what was said by Republican candidates to other Republican candidates.
Right.
Like, and y'all be mad about that? Like, you need to take a look in the mirror. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what honestly, I think a lot of Americans need to take a hard look in the mirror, because I definitely think that, like, the very fact that someone like Donald Trump can be elected president is that people have gotten away from even the meaning of freedom.
Right.
So, like, and when like a country that holds itself to like a moral authority to the world forgets its own like teachings and pundits and just the inherent like heart of the country, like we're in a bad place as a country, man. Like,
Exactly.
We're in a very bad place.
And there's not enough people that actually feel like, in my experience, and I told you, I campaigned a lot for Beto, and in most of the experiences you go to, there's people that swear, they want change, they want something to happen, but they don't want to actually go out and vote. And you don't really see that. I'm not going to say that's the main reason Beto didn't win the Senate race, but you see whole communities of people that feel like they've been, silenced, they haven't been heard, but they don't want to take the step to actually go and do something about it. And I mean, to an extent, you could be right. I mean, your single vote isn't going to, change the world, but it's going to help in the process. And I think a lot of people in this country really need to realize that is your vote does matter. There's
a speck of sand doesn't mean anything, but a million of it makes a desert.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, but
It's
what
easy
people
to
don't
feel that
understand
way,
is
but-
what really like, and again, as part of being American means that you have the right not to vote. I mean, that's just part of what that means. So I get it. So I can't criticize too harshly, but the fact of the matter is that what they don't understand is them not voting is exactly what your opposition is banking on. Like
Well, you look what's going on in Georgia. Like, at every angle, it seemed
they're already making it hard enough for you to vote anyway. So then when you choose not to vote, dude, that's just all what they. I mean, like, it's just what they want. I mean, like, I honestly think there's more people who like are, I mean, I hate even saying the word liberal because it just makes it like this. It's like a left or right or bad or wrong. But like no, it's just like labels. But like just like liberals for by and large want more human-based ethical things to happen as far as like it deals with immigration, like how you deal with education, poverty, all these things. Like there's just a little bit more, like you have it's about a helping hand to lift people out of these pockets of poverty, no matter where they're starting. So like that to me is the moral difference, but it's like it's very lost like on people that there are way more of these people in the world than there aren't. Yeah. But when you don't vote, it's like even though you're a good person and you want good for more people, you don't get it because you don't want to participate.
And it's almost the same as voting for the opposition.
It is the same thing as voting for the opposition.
It plays right into the favor of what, like you said, what they're banking on.
Right. In true democracy, if the person with the most votes win, then it doesn't matter what the people want. Because like that's the thing is like government is supposed to be like the heart of it, or like democracy is supposed to be government for the people by the people.
Right.
But if the people aren't participating, then all you have is what you're left with. Yep. Like Donald Trump is not the president that we need, but he is the president we deserve. Because like number one, like ignorance, I'm not calling people who are Trump supporters ignorant like as a derogatory term. Ignorance is literally the lack of knowledge. So, like, I mean, that's why I think most of these people who are voting against their economic interests are Republicans because they're ignorant of like what needs to help them actually leave the bonds of being impoverished or poverty. Yeah. Like, so like when people like Trump tell you they care about you and that like we're gonna save coal mines and shit like that, yes, you believe them, but the fact of the matter is like that's not the long-term solution. And it's hurting the people who work in the coal. Like, it's not even good for you to like mine coal. Like, it's crazy.
It's become cult-like almost when you see it. Like we were talking about previously about this issue was no matter what he does, even if it's a liberal stance, if he does it, conservatives act like it was their idea
Right.
the whole time, and it was great that we did that.
Like,
We should have done that.
Hot take right now: Donald Trump is going to legalize cannabis before 2020 election. And like you're saying, I'm sure
Conservatives are going to
conservatives will be like, "Oh, we wanted this all along, or we secretly wanted this, but the old Republican Party didn't want to do it, and blah blah blah." Like,
they're going to find a reason.
okay,
to accept it and make it
fantastic,
normal.
like fantastic. And then Donald Trump, like, now your opinion: do you think if Donald Trump does that, if he legalizes marijuana before the 2020 election, how do you think it's going to change? Now, without it, do you think he's going to win? And with it, do you think it affects his chance of winning?
Without it, you're talking 2020, correct? I mean, I think,
And we don't know who the Democratic
Exactly. I think it's
potentials
hard.
even are. None.
I think
we
it's
have
going
no
to be
real
difficult
potentials.
to really, gauge it without that, to see who's coming against him. But the thing that frightens me, I mean, it's not really to do with the drug issue, but just in general, like, I'm glad you said that, is there's not many Democrats that really wow anybody. I think Beto, is one of the few ones. There's
He's one
Kamala
of the few
Harris.
politicians, period. Now, there are a lot of Democrats and some of them women that really did like get a lot of attention, but like there aren't a lot of candidates like Beto, period.
That are truly passionate.
Yeah.
And like I said, I had the pleasure of meeting him I
Dope.
think
wish
2
I did.
times.
I wish I had met him.
And he's the same off camera as he is on camera. It's not a political, face he puts on. It's really who he is. He really truly believes what he's doing and what he's trying to do. And I think, regardless of party, you got to give him credit for that. And I think he's the type of candidate that they need if they are going to get past the Donald Trump era, is they need somebody to run like that. I mean, even if it's not him, he definitely needs to play a role in influencing, like somebody like Oprah or, Beyonce, whoever that's going to actually influence. He has the pull now in the nation to do so. So regardless if he runs or not, he needs to be a pivotal part of getting somebody up there.
I think even if I agree with you, Beto doesn't run, he should at least be part of the campaign.
Exactly.
He would be a great.
And if he can pull Texas, he could. I mean, look, go
Holy
back.
shit! I didn't even think about that. Like, he'd be a great.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it. I mean, if he runs for vice president,
But then he'd have all the political experience he needed to be
president
after that.
Why not? I mean, you see what Kennedy did with Texas. He got Lyndon Baines Johnson on the ticket just so he could get Texas.
so
I mean,
he
the
could get
same
Texas,
sort of deal with Beto. I mean, if you could get somebody on his team, it doesn't even actually have to be on the ticket. If he can just get enough influence, because you saw he didn't win Texas, but he came very close.
I mean, but that's the thing is with the right 2 candidates, whatever, like vice president, you could even get and that's the thing. I feel like I don't think that the debate between Ted, or the race between Ted Cruz and Beto was actually portrayed in the media in the way that the presidential campaign, even in Texas, yes, there's because Beto created a lot of heat, you can't not cover it, but it was more about covering the Beto campaign than it was about the actual race,
right? You
know what I'm saying? So
Well,
do you even know what Ted Cruz's stance on anything was?
Yeah.
His political campaigns, his ads were just redundant. It's I'm a real Texan or some shit, a bunch of dumb shit, not even real issues.
Yeah.
So you get away from the.
Well, you can tell the difference in.
But anyway, you didn't answer the question. You what?
Go back. What was the second? Do I think he would get elected if he
legalizes marijuana?
I wouldn't say he'd get elected. Again, it's tough to gauge by who runs against him. I mean, I think he's got history tells us, usually if you're a first termer, you're going to be a second termer,
right?
So
especially if you don't have any major catastrophes in there.
As far as minority poll, or not even minority, just people.
I'm talking about. Do you think
No, I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that.
Say you had a Beto. I can't even ask the full question. Say you have a Beto-esque opposition to Donald Trump in 2020. Not saying it's Beto, could be. I'm just saying
somebody of that caliber.
Someone of that caliber who campaigned in that manner and was that heartfelt and everything. Yeah. Do you think marijuana will be enough for Donald Trump to beat that president? Into not like in the history of American politics. I'm talking about
honestly, I don't
2020.
think so. No.
You don't think it's gonna be enough?
I don't think it'd be enough because also the candidate running against him is also, I'm assuming, has that. If it's like Beto, has the same mindset. So it doesn't really matter if you elect him or you elect the other person.
But I'm not saying Trump is going to promise it in the way.
Oh, you're saying he's already doing it.
I'm saying say in 20 next year.
Yeah.
Trump writes an executive order that decriminalizes marijuana federally, like removes it off the DEA's or the whatever, like Section 1 narcotic. Like if it removed that, I'm saying in the wake of that decision, that's what I'm saying. If he does it, it'll be before the election.
Okay.
Like I think Donald Trump. My personal opinion, and I could be wrong. I think Donald Trump is going to legalize marijuana and initiate prison reform before the 2020 election to affect the minority vote in the United States.
And I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he did, but I think if he stayed quiet and for once in his life stayed out of, controversy, I think there's a shot. But
no, I'm talking about Donald Trump tweeting at 5 a.m., but this motherfucker just tweeted, thanks, stoners, I just legalized marijuana. I'm saying that, and
I don't think it would be enough.
And
honestly.
I'm talking about and he says that conditions the country to remove marijuana offenders from jail, to avoid fine, if in the wake of criminal reform and all that. Do you think and still he's the Donald Trump who talks and acts and everything else, but he does these decisions for the hope of winning the next election. Do you think it's enough for him to win?
I would say so. I think it is enough, but as far as like you were saying, the minorities, I don't know if there's going to be enough minorities to choose sides with him just over that.
But again, like you said, that's the thing. If Donald Trump did all that, black people wouldn't vote for him. But minority, Mexicans, blacks, poor whites, anyone who's even supportive liberals, whatever, they just wouldn't vote. You know what I'm saying? If Donald Trump did a bunch of stuff that affected the plight of minorities in this country, I think it's enough that those people would just then well, I don't want to I ain't gonna vote for him.
Well, again,
but I wouldn't. But I ain't gonna.
I can see that.
I'm smoking right now. I don't feel like it would be right if I voted against Donald Trump after he lets me smoke a legal joint J in my house.
It's tough to gauge without seeing who he's up against, but I kind of see what you're saying there. Yeah, I think it's going to make an impact regardless. It's just a matter of who runs against him, if it's going to be enough. And it's tough to gauge because whether you have someone like Oprah Winfrey, who's for years people think she's going to run, or Beto, really people are pushing him to run. He said he's open to it. He hasn't said he's not going to. He just said he wants to focus on his family now. So there's still a chance.
It's enough time.
There's enough time.
When's the primary's next year, right?
Yeah.
So there's more than enough time to figure that stuff out. But hey, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna pick up one more topic before we get out of here.
All right.
The one downside of this camera is that
I'm feeling for you, baby. Come on over tonight. And if they think I'm wrong, I don't wanna be right. I know we ain't in love. I know you ain't my man. I know you got a wedding band shining on your hand. And I can see all the drama that you're going through. Can't nobody please you like the way that I do. I know we ain't in love. I know you ain't my man. I know you got a wedding band shining on your hand. I'll be your mistress, baby. Ooh. I'll be your mistress, baby. Yeah. Ain't nobody please you like the way that I do. I know we ain't in love. I know you ain't my man. I know you got a wedding band shining on your hand. I'll be your mistress, baby.
All right, back from a little pot break. So
I'll be your mistress, baby. I'll be your mistress, baby.
It's more than welcome to get away from politics. We were discussing college athletes.
Oh yeah, you was talking about.
And this would have been a perfect segment for your friends to actually join in, unless you would have had some insight. Because
right, he would. He probably he probably has insight on it, but he probably don't want to give. He doesn't like to get political unless it's to support Trump. So, he says he does. He's not really a Trump supporter. He just likes to say he does to piss people off.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. That may give away his whole thing. But no, yeah, he probably wouldn't even. He probably doesn't even care. He probably tell. He's like, these are his. This is not me saying this. He would say he wouldn't give a shit what those monkeys do. That's probably what he would say.
Oh man.
So that's literally a direct quote. We were talking about. Do you think that whether or not college athletes should get compensated for their participation in collegiate sports,
Yeah, and personally for me, I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert on it because, I've never played collegiate sports.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that I've been in either position, but I see both sides of it. I see the student athlete and the student who says, why is this person getting free tuition?
Right.
Everything like that just because they play sports. But there also is the other side where of how hard they work and how much effort is put into the actual position. And yeah, they get free college, they get free benefits for doing so. But compared to the revenue that they bring into those universities, especially major universities, is insurmountable compared to what they're actually getting in the long run from this. Yeah, there's a shot at the NFL, you can make millions, but it's a shot is all it is. It's not a guarantee.
Right.
So somebody
and
can...
especially if you spend 4 years in that system.
Exactly.
Not to say that, you can't, but potentially you may be limiting the amount of time you can even profit from your ability.
Right, and especially in sports like football. Every single time you step on the field, you're risking, everything going down the drain by an injury.
Right.
There's no guarantee whatsoever in those sports. So I think for that reason, I think they should be compensated at some point. I don't know exactly the details of the plan and how it should be laid out because, every sport is different in college, but there has to be some sort of compensation compared to what they're doing now. I think the system is very corrupt in the sense that they are essentially using the backs of college athletes and students to make millions.
I think people will say it's exaggeration, but how is it not slavery? You have someone doing a task who's minimally compensated in the wake of what it's generating. If we were only talking about $100,000 or $200,000, yeah, then their education and everything is on par with what they're. But we're not talking about $100,000. We're talking about millions of dollars that TV companies and advertisements and everybody millions of dollars are exchanging hands here, and the people that are responsible for this current of economic activity and interest. Yeah. Are not fairly compensated for all this transaction.
You go to a university, you go to the bookstore, you can buy jerseys of those people, and they're not seeing a dime of that revenue from those purchases.
And who otherwise that jersey would not be paid, not be bought if it was not for that player.
Exactly. And they're not getting any of it. It's like you don't own yourself, honestly. It's an interesting concept where it's like you yourself are an icon to people, depending on what high level you play in college, but you yourself are essentially a celebrity at that university, and you're not even yourself. Somebody else controls your monetary gains from what you do, your job. Essentially, it is a job.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly
it's a task, like you said. It's a task you're doing, and there is benefits to it, but I feel like there needs to be a lot more in order to actually feel like they're being treated fairly for what they're doing.
And depending on the sport, they may not even be able to just go straight from high school into the professional, into a professional capacity. So it's like you're forcing them into this funnel, and then telling them they can't even, reap the benefits. So it's like, well, come on, dude. I was like, because if you're a tennis player, a tennis player can be a professional straight out of high school, and if they're that good, bam, they're making fucking millions of dollars. Doesn't matter if they go play college or not. The fucking the American Tennis Association gives no craps whether or not you go to college. You know what I'm saying? They don't give a shit at all. So why?
Well, college basketball as well, like the 1 year rule, the one and done rule, it was implemented simply because college universities saw that they were going to lose money with these kids going to the NBA, and now when you watch it's a different experience.
Because you're fucking them means because they don't want to be fucked anymore. Means you got to change some shit. You got to change some shit to make it work for you. Do you not see that if people don't want to be part of your system, that the problem is the system? That's just a pure travesty that anyone can even assume. Look at they see that people don't want to be a part of what you got going on, and instead of fixing the system to make it more mutually exclusive, you still want to tilt the table in your favor. You know what I'm saying? You still want to stack the deck in your favor instead of help making sure everyone's equally compensated.
And when you watch it, in my experience watching sports versus pro versus college, it's a different experience, especially when you watch college basketball, because no one's out there. I'm not going to say nobody, but for most universities like Duke, Kentucky, ones that are known for basketball, known for producing people to the NBA, they're not playing for the university. They're just playing to get to the next level. They're not even really interested in playing college. They play it because they have to.
Right.
And, I mean, in football, you see the 3-year rule where you at least see some people that actually seem like they're playing for the university,
here's
not
the thing
playing
is, like,
for the money.
you don't even have to, like, give them the money, like, right then.
Yeah.
Like, you could put the money, in the trust that
And
they
get
get
it
access
once
to
you're
whenever
out.
they're out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I hate the fact that someone who's 18 years old can go sign up to go die in the military, but they can't decide whether or not they can go play professional level athletics. Like,
and there's places like baseball where minor league systems have helped that, where you don't necessarily need college in order to
Right,
do so. You
exactly.
can get paid right away. And, I mean, it would be difficult to do so with football and sports such as that, but that's an example of another way that a sport has actually started doing it right, where there isn't really a need for...
But here's the thing is, like, if the college, like, back to what the college is, like, not changing the system to benefit everyone, then people would want to be part of your system, and then, like, you would have, like, renewed interest, like, in your, because that would be, like, the new stock, like, that you would become the new NBA, essentially. If people wanted to stop at the NCAA before going on to professional, like, basketball, then you're essentially creating, like, you have more people not wanting to, like, skip bypass things and go to overseas and shit like that. You have more people wanting to come play.
And it would be
college
difficult.
basketball.
I mean, I think it should happen, but I think it would be a difficult process to make happen when you consider the amount of... Well, you consider the major universities versus smaller universities. They're in competition now, but it's solely based on what the school has done, you know, with sports, how they play, that kind of thing, their coaching staff. If you bring money into the equation, it completely changes things because, you know, University
really
of Texas
because,
versus...
like, no university should exist because of their, like, scholastic, I mean, because of their athletic department. That's just something else you do or should be. You know, it shouldn't be the back of like, your entire, like, premise as a higher, you know, a building of higher education.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, it gets to a point where, you know, Ohio State versus some D3, or not D3, but a smaller D1 school that doesn't have the resources that a school like Ohio State would have, there was no chance in hell they're getting that recruit because they're going to go where the money is. They know they're going to go to if they can go to a major university, they're going to go.
Right, but if they're, I mean, but here's the thing is, like, then it's just a law of averages. Not every player is going to be that good. So, but if you can go and have like $50,000, you know, in a trust for you at the end, like, if that's just you're at a small little school, shit, that's still a fucking nest egg of $50,000. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it doesn't just because, like, you won't have the $250,000 or $500,000 on the back end when you're done, doesn't mean that it's not beneficial to. You know what I'm saying? If it's 10,000, whatever it is, like, depending on the scale of the school, people are still going to go get in where they fit in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if
but
they're going to reap the benefit, like, and that's what I'm saying. More people are going to, like, you would up the level of, like, intensity in college football.
I think the competition would be significant. Yes, if you change it.
And the competition increasing, then increase interest because college basketball is already, like, I mean.
Although I will say this, you say that, but when you watch the difference between college football versus the NFL, it's a different experience. College football seems like the competition is more intense simply because they're not playing for money. When you see people in the NFL, you have a sprained finger, you're not going to risk it because you're making money. You're going to stay out. You don't see as much competition in the NFL.
But because but to me, because it's played on a professional, like, NFL's played at a professional level, like to the matter of, like, how they get players and change teams and whatever. I don't think that, it's more exciting because it's just more raw and because, like, you have the element of, like, you know what I mean, like, with professional sports, like, you have these, you know, just where you grow up with, blah, 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 but, like, people are raised one place, then go to college somewhere else, so it's like, you have, like, it's enriched into cultures across the nation because people went to one school, but now they root for the same college even though they live across the fucking country. Yeah. So it has, like, this, you know, like, the built-in fan base already in it. It's like people love fucking college football. They love college, you know, basketball. Like, I mean, more than I even would think. I mean, like, I guess it's pretty exciting for sometimes, but it's other times it's not. But people fucking are still, like, you know, people that love Duke and, you know, all these colleges, like, they are diehard, you know, fucking fans. So, like, but I think, like, if you, like, did more for the player, you do more for the sport yourself, and more for the whole institution. Like, you'd attract. They could even make more money if they were to be more willing.
I agree.
To, like, help help the people that are doing all
And
this.
again, like I said, I think on a large scale, it is going to be a bit of a difficult process to find an in-between middle ground between what the university wants and what the athlete wants.
Well, it's
but
not
I think there
it's
needs
not difficult. It's never going to happen because they're unwilling to like, you know what I'm saying? Until like someone, pretty much until anyone's forced or until like a school decides to do it themselves, like before anybody else, and they show that it's profitable, no one else is going to follow suit. People just, you know.
That's the problem is the NCAA controls all this.
Yeah,
so
they can't even
just experiment it. Yeah, it's their say.
You're right.
So it's going to be difficult because you have to not just get one university, you have to get every
all of them,
single
yeah.
university and the NCAA to agree on this. And I don't think it would. I think you're right. I don't think it would ever happen.
It's
but
not going to happen.
there needs to be, in an ideal world, if it were to occur, I don't know exactly the specifics of how it should be, but I think it needs to be way more than what they're doing now. Because it's just too much on the line for no money whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just disgusting in the United States of America. Again, like, I hate to take these to politics, but Jesus, like,
Go for it.
freedom, like, goddamn, like, why can you tell somebody they can, like, if we have to go to war tomorrow,
Yeah.
like, a certain segment of our population, being 18 years of old is the only qualification they need to go die for their country.
Yeah.
But you can't trust that person to make a decision for themselves. It's just like, and you're not doing it. You're not doing it for ethical and moral reasons. You're doing it for your own financial gain. You're not doing it for these students so they can be better, moral and upstanding gentlemen when they're done with their 4 years of college. You're doing it so you can get millions of dollars. That's it. That's it.
And yeah, I mean, I agree 100% on that. I think it is something that ideally would need to change,
And
but
it's disgusting.
yes.
Anyway. But any more thoughts on that? Did you want to?
I mean, not really. I think we covered most of that. I
All
mean,
right. Well, we're about 36 minutes, something like that. Anyway, I think it's a pretty good first run. Anyways, what I was going to say at the end of this is I'm not done doing bomb takes, but Mr. Mars and myself, John the Baptist, are going to return next week, but with our own show that'll be just the two of us. My show's going to kind of go back, not being political, just kind of, or just being bitching about whatever the fuck I want to, even if it is political.
I mean, we could bitch on my show as well.
Yeah, but I mean,
there's
like,
time for
like
bitching in every show.
I can bitch about whatever the fuck I want to, and I can only do it for like 5 minutes without having to take it. Like, we talk about 30, about to be 40 minutes. But yeah, so I don't know if we have a concrete name. We have
the name.
We have an idea for it, but
on air also don't care. We also don't care. We'll bitch on our show
I
too.
don't think so. It's gonna work, man.
I mean, I don't think you have that copyrighted. I can go for that.
You can go for that. I just don't think it's
I mean,
gonna be hot. I'm not saying you can't.
It's
do
going
it.
to
I'm just
catch
saying
on.
It just doesn't say.
No, they're going to be fans.
Yeah, you probably could. You have like 20,000 15-year-olds on your Instagram and prove me wrong tomorrow.
It works for me. I mean,
they can prove me wrong tomorrow. I'm not arguing. I wish I had it.
I'm talking about these people here. They're going to go for it. Just playing.
Maybe.
On air also don't care.
If I see enough
the next big thing.
If I see people say that, then before now next week, then that's what the show will be called. I'm not a one. I can't preach all this democracy shit, and then when the votes are there, not fucking go for it. I'm not, can't do that shit. Not going. You ain't gonna catch me being a hypocrite. I'm not the walking contradiction. That'd be my dumbass.
I like
my
between the
dumbass
hands
friend.
too. We can go between the hands.
I kind of like it. I can do kind of like
between the hands.
It's a work in progress. I don't know. Now there you go. What is it? On air also don't care. What you say?
On air also don't care.
On air also don't care. Or between the two right hands, or between the two hands. Y'all let us know. All right, we out this motherfucker. John the Baptist, Premier Poppy, Matt Mars signing off.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be back real soon.